For TV is how we do that. You could get me on my personal handle, that's at Amina_Kenya. Or you could get Ian at Ian_Wafula. In fact, I think he replies more than I do. He's very on Twitter. However, if you get me on the Snap or on Instagram, then I will definitely respond. All right, time now to talk about being a young person today. Not just young, but being an adolescent. There's a lot of things that they go through. There's a lot of challenges that they face, from peer pressure to trying to discover themselves, to knowing what they want in life, to growing up, to, you know, having all of these hormones. And it's just a lot that goes on in a body of an adolescent, and then, of course, in their mind. So how can you, as a parent, tap in? Maybe we should talk to young people just a little bit so that you could understand. All right, so with me in studio, I have some guys I want to introduce. Hey, Travis.
Hi, Amina.
Hi. So what are your full names?
My name is Trevor Tati.
Trevor Tati.
Yes,
Tati. And then we have
Zarina Tegani.
Zarina Tegani. Now, Zarina, I know you, where you don't, muna ka anxious. Mulif kirani tawang padu. It's fine. It's fine, guys. So we're going to talk about being young. You know what I mean? And being, you know, going through a lot of things that, you know, you go through and feeling misunderstood while at it. So let me start with you, Zarina. So what do you do now? You're in uni, Kole?
Yes, I'm in flying school at
Ah.
FTC, yeah.
And then what do you do, Travis?
Well, I do so many things. I do photography. I'm into business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not in school.
You're not in school.
Yeah.
So you're just a creative.
Yes.
Who loves doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then you, oh yeah, so you're also an entrepreneur, this and that and the other, because we had you before on the show for entrepreneurship, right? So do you, just from that only, what you want to do in life, do you feel just by that you're also misunderstood? Do you feel like your parents don't get it when it comes to what you want to do and why you don't have a specific job? For you, Trevor?
For me, actually, my parents are very supportive in what I'm doing, and they actually push me. If I drop this, they encourage me to pick up a new thing, and you know, they really push me to do what I love.
Yeah. That's dope. That's good. But then you've heard of people who don't get that sort of support, right?
Yeah.
They're told to stick to one thing.
Yeah.
Have you heard that, Zarina?
Yes.
You have?
Yes. My parents forced me to do aviation.
Are they watching?
No idea.
What did you want to do?
Law.
You wanted to do law?
Yes.
Then why didn't, I mean, law is still a good course.
Yes, it is, but well, parents are parents.
Yeah.
So, but I love it. It's interesting. It's fun.
Yeah. Now then, how do you try to talk to them? Have you tried talking to them?
No.
So you haven't? You just straight out the gate thought they wouldn't hear me, they wouldn't get it, they wouldn't understand?
When I was still in high school, my dad would always push me, you have to do aviation. So I thought maybe if I dropped physics, I wouldn't have to do it. But I still had to do it. And it was, at first, it's really tough. If you're not really confident, it can be hard. Yeah,
that's true. Let's talk about peer pressure, right? So you guys now face social media pressure, other than the actual physical peer pressure where someone tells you or they make you feel like you need to do certain things. Now there's social media. How do you deal with that, Trevor?
Well, looking at social media, you tend to see different lifestyles, how people are living, and you know, it really pushes you, and you might find yourself doing things that you can't, you know, you can't handle. You're not there. You're not ready for that kind of situation, and you just maneuver around it.
Yeah, man, social media na pressure, pressure mob. Zarina, like now you have a following, right? Yeah. So you know, do you feel that pressure? Ama, you're the one giving people that pressure.
No.
Really? No, you don't feel the pressure.
I had to develop a thick skin because I would get so many people hating on me and telling me negative things and calling me names, and it would break me down.
Why were they calling you names?
I don't know, honestly. I think people assume everyone who has a following is maybe bad influence or has a bad reputation.
Yeah, that is true, which comes from socialites, right?
Yeah.
Because you assume that what to hawana job. Do you talk about the, you know, what you do?
To people?
Yeah, as in, you know, school, and you know, if you show that maybe there are other things to you, then they don't.
Well, I don't really talk about my life to people. Only my close friends. I'm really private. So.
Yeah, really private with very many followers. So let's talk about, you know, the whole point of communication, right? So where does the miscommunication come from when it comes to young people, where they feel, or adolescents, where they feel they're not, you know, being taken seriously enough? Do you ever get that feeling where people don't, don't think your opinion is valid or doesn't hold any water?
Well, not really, but I think social media is really, you know, it has a picture. How do I put it? It has put things in a different way. Like you would see photos of me, and you portray maybe I don't do anything with my life, and all I do is partying and everything. But I actually have a social life.
What does I have a social life mean? What does I have a social life mean? Like, oh, you have a life from
like I have a life
everything
from
else.
all that.
Okay.
Because what social media just portrays what you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
So people can get the wrong image of you.
Ah, that's true. They do get that. Like, you know, when you're posting videos or pictures of shisha, and they feel like, see you find a job. Do you feel like people just love hating?
Yes.
It gives them joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has it ever made you suicidal? I'm asking that because there is a sort of, I can't call it a fad, but there are all these games. You remember there was a game that was trending about it, right? Again, adolescents. It was in kids who were in Form 1, some in primary, a very dangerous game. And I hope you as a parent, you were attentive enough to notice when they were playing this very bad game. And I've forgotten what it was called. I think it was elephant something, or it was an animal. Just don't remember what animal it was. And it was about playing a game where you die for a couple of minutes or something, right? Blue Moon. Blue Moon is not a vodka drink. Sorry. What? Blue Whale, right? That's the one. That's the one. Thank you so much, Flo. But yeah, so Blue Whale, and it was a dangerous game. So have you ever felt that you want to get to that point where you're just like, oh my God, it's too much? Zarina?
No.
It's never gotten to that point?
No. I don't think I've ever gotten to the point I'm thinking of taking away my life because of what people say.
Yeah. But you've read those stories, watched 13 Reasons Why?
Yeah.
And you can see how it happens, right? How do you think that parents would step in, or at what stage, so that they could try and sort of, control the situation? And even if it's not getting to the point of suicide, then there's depression, there is withdrawal, there's a lot of things that come with it. There's addiction, that people get into drugs and alcohol. How do you think that, from the friends, if the stories your friends both tell you, that maybe their folks would approach them?
I think if parents decided to be open and got close to their kids, they would talk to them and make them understand that how life is. Like life is not fair. You have to live it in this specific way. You have to do it this way. And if someone attacks you, you have to know how to approach it in a specific manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specific manner. You have to learn how to sort of do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about now drugs and alcohol, which is another big thing that's been going on. I don't understand what's happening. People, what's going on? So there has been there's been lots of surveys that have been done, and a lot of young people access drugs and alcohol more than they did years back. And this is the most affected generation because they just, for some reason, are very resourceful and can access drugs and alcohol a lot easier than other generations did. So let's talk about that. Does it come from peer pressure, or it's just a thing that you do?
In most cases, I think it's peer pressure.
Okay.
We tend to see so many things on, YouTube, and you pick it up and think it's cool. I think that's the biggest effect with teens right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they see things on internet, TV.
And then you like it.
And you like it. You think it's cool, so you try it out and you post it. Yeah, you think you'll get maybe followers or anything, yeah? Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think, Zarina?
I think peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Well, yeah. Everyone wants to live the trend. What's new now?
Have you taken drugs?
No.
Okay. Of course you're going to say no. We're national TV, even if you had. But, when it comes to the pressure, when you have numbers online, you all of a sudden feel like now you have to portray a different image. Have you ever felt like that? That people expect you to be now responsible. You're like, I'm living my life, guys.
Yes, I think because many people judge you from what you post. You'll post smoking shisha or going out or just having fun. That's what they take you for.
Okay. So I think we should stop there, right? Because we're definitely talking about adolescence, so I don't want to delve into more. But thank you so much, guys, for coming in. Now, if you just started watching the show, we're talking to Zarina and Travis. We're just talking to young people, generally. Like, it's not for qualifications. It wasn't for anything special. We just wanted young people to come to the studio and talk to us about adolescence. How do you bring up an adolescent today? Is there a different way in which you do it? Are there things that parents are not doing that they need to be focusing on? I have my guest here as well who's going to contribute to that discussion. Good morning.
Morning.
Kindly tell us your full names and what you do.
My name is Faith Kimani. I work with an organization called Pearls and Treasures Trust.
Yeah.
I'm a volunteer there, and we work with young girls and women. Our mandate is to deal with sexuality and relationship issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the modern teenager, right?
Yeah.
How different are they in comparison with, of course, your research, in comparison to other generations?
I think the modern teenager now is much more intelligent. They're more outgoing. They're more inquisitive. They want to know things.
Yeah.
Previously, we'd just be told, do this, and you do it. Now they want to know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with the inquisitive sort of nature that they have, does it come from the internet being available, or where does that come from?
Yeah, it's probably from the internet, but also I think it's just because of their friends.
Okay.
A lot of people know a lot of different things that we probably didn't know when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone was telling me peer pressure today is worse than peer pressure back then.
Yeah, it's definitely worse. I think because a lot of young people lack role models. So the only people that they can look up to is those that they interact with, their peers. So that's where they're getting all their information. That's where they're getting everything.
Oh, you've said interact with. That means that the family don't spend enough time together?
Definitely they don't. One of the major challenges that we have right now is a lot of parents are absent. Even when they are present physically, they're not spending time to know their children.
Yeah.
They're not spending time to understand their children.
Yeah.
Many kids are just growing up. They're
Yeah.
not being brought up.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Why is this happening? So it's not work. So it's
for
not
many
that
people,
there's inflation.
yeah. For many people, it might be work. But then again, I feel that many people who are parents now don't really know how to parent. When they were brought up, they probably didn't like the way they were brought up. Most of our parents were quite strict with us.
Very.
And we are trying to bring up our children in a different way. But then we end up sort of leaving it to other things. We leave it to the teachers, we leave it to the house girls. We really don't know what to do with these younger people in our homes. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
We sort of just let them live.
We just sort of take care of them,
Yeah.
meet their needs, but we never take that time to interact with them and know what do they really want, what are their needs. And you see, adolescence is a very difficult period because they are going through a transition. And just like any other transition, it's very difficult. So they are lacking guidance from us.
Yeah.
And that's why they are turning to their peers. And whatever their peers tell them, that's what goes.
And also remember that we have parents who give their kids, whether it's the phones or the tablets, and you think that
Yeah.
if you give them, expensive gifts, then that's parenting.
Yeah.
So are we showing love differently now?
Yeah, most parents are showing love by giving their children gifts. And for most children, actually, love is just spending time with them. But many parents do not want to spend that time with their children. They'd much rather leave them to their devices.
Or to the house helps?
Or to the house helps, or to school. The children are kept busy doing other things, but they're not finding role models in their parents.
I actually read an article the other day that said at school, we teach them physics, biology, English,
Yeah.
mathematics. Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so it was an article that was being passed around
Okay.
on social media, and I think it was a school, as they're opening now, telling parents that discipline you know, the please, the thank yous, the
Yeah.
welcomes. They
Yeah.
learn that at home.
Yeah.
They learn only subjects in school.
Yeah.
So parents need to understand what is learnt where and what is done. So that when your child gets in a fight, you
Yeah.
can't blame the school.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So-
There's a lot that we are leaving to the teachers, and even parents are not setting a good example. If you want your child to say please, then you ought to say please. If you want your child to learn how to say thank you, then you ought to say thank you as well. And also, it's important to know that this starts when the child is really young. I think they say by the age of 7, when the child shuts you out, they no longer see you as a person of influence in their lives, then you have lost them at that point. Yeah.
And that's so unfortunate. The other thing
is.
that happens is, so you don't have this relationship with your child. They're 3, they're 4, they're 5. You know,
Yeah.
they have their nanny, they have their house help, and you're not there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, when
Yeah.
they're 10,
Yes.
now you want a relationship.
Now you want to come in and tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not even looking for a relationship. You want to come in and tell them what to do. And now they're older. They don't want to listen to you anymore. When they were younger, you could spank them or whatever, and then they'd listen to you. But now they're older and they're wondering, who are you again? What are
Yeah.
you telling me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that sort of presence isn't there.
That presence
It's
is
lacking.
no longer there. It's
Let's
lacking.
talk about religion as well. Now, I understand that people aren't as focused on religion as they used to be before. You know, when we were all growing up, you know, I had to go to the mosque and you had to go to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
But that's not happening. So the kids
Yeah.
also like guidance
Yeah.
from a religious standpoint. Is that true?
That is actually true. And I remember one of my friends said that the most important thing you can do for your child, you don't have to do everything right, but you ought to pray for your child. At least let them learn the ways of God. And actually in our organization, Pearls and Treasures, everything that we teach the young girls, everything that we teach is based from a godly perspective. Because if they can find God, then they will definitely find their way.
Why do you focus on women and girls and not include everybody?
We do have a few organizations that we partner with to include boys, but
Yeah.
girls is our strength. That is
Yeah.
our calling. Yeah.
Have you heard of the boy child being forgotten and left out?
We have heard of that, and you know, maybe in the future we will have more programs for girls
And consider
for
them,
boys.
and
Sorry,
consider them too.
Yeah.
Now, there has been. First of all, let me understand how your organization works, so that you can then ask, you know, the viewer if they, you know, want to
Yeah.
come and join in the program. So how long does it run for?
So our organization has several programs. Like I said, we focus on sexuality and relationships. So this program is called the Hadassah Mentorship Program. That's the one that we focus on young girls. It can run from anything from 3 months to 5 months.
Yeah.
And we tackle different topics with the girls. We tackle peer pressure, self-esteem and identity. We tackle crisis pregnancies. We tackle building healthy relationships, just knowing and loving themselves. And so we basically help these girls reevaluate their values, and so that they can form new values that are based on scriptures.
Are these girls who have been sent from home because they're indisciplined, or are there girls who just come and sign up to the program so that they can?
We target girls from different institutions.
Okay.
They don't have to be girls who have been sent away. They don't have to have gotten into any kind of mischief.
Yeah.
Anybody really can go through our program. Any organized group of girls can go through our program. We can even come to your home and take your children through the program.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice. How long
yeah.
does it take again?
It takes anything from 3 to 5 months.
Okay.
Again, it depends on the understanding of the girls. There are topics that will take longer, depending on the girls. So we cannot give it a specific period of time.
Why did you get into this?
It's a passion that I have. Ever
Really?
since I was young, yes. I've always loved working with young girls. I love to see young girls coming out of their shells and just starting to believe in themselves
Yeah.
and knowing that they can make a difference and that there's something special in each and every one of them.
What do you hope to achieve with the girls when they're done with their programs? What do you hope for them?
My hope is that they will become everything that they want to be. One of the things that we emphasize is, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it's not just about saying, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor. What do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of values do you want to have?
Yeah.
So my hope is that these girls will grow up and become everything they want to be, and that in the future they can mentor other girls. So we want it to be kind of a cycle. We mentor these young girls, and then they mentor others. So it becomes like a chain of girls who know who they are and who are living right.
Yeah. Let's talk about now, there are some young, individuals who do get into trouble often. Now, this is regardless of whether or not how disciplined their parents are, how available, how present they are in their lives. What do you then attribute that to?
Like I said, adolescence is a difficult period. When you're going through a transition, it's hard. And sometimes you'll make mistakes. You don't know, are you a child? Are you an adult? So many changes taking place, some of which you don't understand. So it's important for one to be a friend to their child at that time. Just allow them to express themselves. Because when you dig deeper, and many of the girls that we deal with who are rebellious, when you talk to them, you realize they're just children. Deep inside, they are just kids, and just like any other child. They just want to be loved, they want to be understood. They want somebody who will bring out the positive in them. Many times, you're always telling them, because they're doing all the negative things, that's what we are focusing on. But they want somebody who will then tell them, but you have always loved to act. You have always loved to sing. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And then their attention is shifted from the negative to the positive.
Yeah. I know. Like when you ask, a parent, like, oh, what does she like?
Yeah.
And she says something different and the child says something different.
Exactly.
And you're like,
Yeah.
Okay.
So many times they don't take that time to because there's something positive in everybody, but nobody's bringing that out because they have already dismissed this person as someone who is rebellious, somebody who just doesn't want to listen, they don't want to go to school. But if you take the time to listen to these girls, you realize that each and every one of them has a dream, each and every one of them. And they do want to achieve that dream. They do want to be good. It's just that it's a difficult time for them as well. And we ought to understand them, we ought to encourage them, keep them busy doing the right thing.
Yesterday we had a lady, she is a financial banker, personal financial banker, and she's won numerous awards in South Africa. And she said, when she was working with a lot of wealthy people, what she understood was they include their children, however young, in some of the decision-making processes and in some of the serious conversations that they would have, so that they would feel like their opinion is valid. Now, I was asking Trevor and Zarina over on the other side about the same thing. Do we treat adolescents like their opinions don't matter or like they don't know what they're talking about?
Yeah, definitely. We do treat them like their opinions don't matter. And at the same time, we want them to behave like adults. So it's very confusing for them because they don't know what they're supposed to do then. But I think many of them do know what they want. Many of us actually, from when we were kids, we had an idea of the kind of person we want to become. It's just that at that period, we kind of get lost. But if they listen to the adolescents, if you listen to them, you realize, they do know, they do have something they could bring to the table.
Like Martin Luther King, we all had dreams.
We all had dreams.
You hear your parents telling you, like, can you win him toto? And then the next minute,
can you act like an adult?
You're like, who am I?
Who am I? Am I an adult? Am I a child? So it's very confusing for them. And it's important for us as parents to educate ourselves so that we're able to guide them during that transition period. So now, as they become adults, it's an important but necessary, heartbreaking transition that needs to happen, right? Yes.
So we have parents who they're called helicopter parents, the ones who don't let you breathe and you don't have a life. Is that bad to do? Because again, you're just trying to be very present, but in the...
That is definitely not 100% positive because at some point you're going to have to let that child go. You can't always be there. So it's important that you believe that as a parent you have brought up your child right. If you bring up those values in them from when they're young, you have to have faith that you've taught them the right thing. Because even if you want to, you cannot always be there. They will definitely leave your home. And then there are these children who, if you have those kind of parents, they'll be so good when their parents are around. They'll be perfect. They'll do everything right. And then when the parent is called, oh, your child did this, they're like, no, that's not my child. They don't know their child at all, but their child has learned how to behave when the parent is there and how to behave out there. So the important thing is to almost allow them, teach them the right thing, and then allow them to make that choice to do the right thing, so that whether you're there or not, they are doing the right thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, there are some risks to it, because now you give them so much leeway in this quest to find their identity and understand themselves.
Yeah.
It's a bit scary because you don't know what they'll bring back,
Yeah,
right, as they try to
yeah.
find out who they are and what they like. So you can't just push an advice there. You know what I mean? Because you have to let them be.
You have to let them be. I think you do it in bits. As they grow older and older, give them a little more responsibility. As they're growing older, give them a little more responsibility. Do it in bits. And then they do something right. Encourage them, you know, cheer them on, clap for them, whatever. Encourage them and keep on giving them that little bit of responsibility.
How important is it to know their friends?
It's very important. It's very important. And I think one of the main things that we have already discussed is peer pressure. Peer pressure is a big deal. Many of the girls that we have been talking to recently in the program we've had at Kamai, many of them can attribute many of the decisions they have made to peer pressure. So it's very, very important to know your children's friends.
Very
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
And boyfriends, girlfriends, just
Boyfriend,
all of them.
all of them.
Know all of
Everybody
them.
that they interact with is very important to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're watching and you're a parent and you're just horrified, you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, I have to let it go. It's okay. What questions do you have? Let's talk, let's discuss, let's understand, you know, how to bring up a modern adolescent and teenager, because they're going through a lot. And there's so many things that they do. And there are times that they come home and the things that they say or the things that you read about them, or if they leave their phone behind and you see a text and you wonder, who is this? Because this is definitely not my child. That means maybe you are not paying as much attention as you should have. And maybe you have a teenager who's going through a couple of things and you want Faith to come through and assist. So that's why we have these discussions on the show. The hashtag online is K24Alfajri. The number is right at the bottom of the screen. So do give us a call. Now, I was reading something about choosing your battles wisely when it comes to your children.
Yeah.
Now, parents get to a point where they nitpick and they're so irritating with it, where they follow and they ask about every single thing. But when you're going through this phase and period in your life, you wouldn't want every single day to argue. That's why they don't want to be home, because when they're home, you're always arguing. Is that something that you've heard of before?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And I think the important thing is to make that child your friend. It's hard, but there's no other way out. Because if you come across as this person who will they can't come to you and tell you, I did ABCD, the first thing you're just going to hit the roof. You know, as a parent, it's very important to remain calm. Whatever they bring, just remain calm. Don't hit the roof, don't shout at them.
Listen to them.
Yeah.
All right, we have Solomon calling in from Embakasi. Good morning. Hello, K24Alfajri. Hello.
Hi,
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good.
How are you feeling? You're good.
I'm good.
Fantastic. Now, please proceed with your question or comment.
First of all, thank you for the topic.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're doing greatly well.
Now,
I have a daughter who is 13 years old.
you got what?
A daughter
Yes.
who is 13 years old, and she's in class 7. And she's so playful and forgetful at times.
Yes.
So I just want advice, actually, from the speaker there.
So
And the
playful and
contact
forgetful.
which can help her.
Okay, Faith. All right, no problem.
So,
Thank you for calling.
He says she's in class 7.
Yeah, she's 13 years
She's
old.
playful and forgetful.
Yes.
Okay, that means she's not focusing on her schoolwork and all that. I think what I will do with such a child is sit them down and have them write down their dream.
Yeah.
Again, it all goes back to that. Have them write down, what do you want to be when you finish school? Do you want to finish school? What do you want to be when you finish school? And when they tell you what they want to be, okay, do you know how to get there? Do you know what you need to do to get there? When you focus on that, then they're able to see, if I want to get here in this period of time, then I need to do A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
Many of the girls that you've been mentoring, and they share with us what they want to be when they grow up, you start to see changes in them. You start to see them becoming more focused. Even those who are in institutions, they start paying attention to the different crafts that they do in there, like beadwork and tailoring. they start paying more attention, they start being more attentive. So it's important to give them a goal so that they want to achieve that goal, so that they're not just going to school because daddy and mommy say I have to go to school. What is their goal after school? What do they want to do? And let them understand that if that's what you want, then there are certain things that you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope that answered your question, Solomon. And then, of course, you can contact Faith. We're going to leave her details right after the show. Yeah. All right. So we have yet another caller from Nakuru. Good morning, K24 Alpha Jury. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
We're speaking to Felicitas.
Yes.
Felicitas, what is your question or comment this morning?
No, my comment is,
Yes.
I really wish to commend this the project or the program going on.
Yes.
About raising the teenagers. Because apparently I have a boy and a girl. But I would hope the program would also focus on the boy child.
It's not specifically about the girl child. Did that come out like it was about the girl child?
Yeah, it is. I understand it's focusing on the girl child, and they said they'll focus on the boy child later on.
Oh, no. Her program. Yes, her program, not the program. Okay, I hear you. Yes, Felicitas. Yes, Sawa.
The lady whom you're interviewing.
True, that's true. She did say
yeah,
that.
So my comment is there.
Yeah, go on. I can hear you.
Yeah, my comment is, I've been having a good time with my children. I work in Nairobi. But my family lives in Nakuru. So whenever they close school, I have time with them. I connect with them. Yes. And at the moment, I'm actually having challenges. The boy has different needs from the girl. But I get so proud when they talk to me and I tell them to share anything with me, which is very encouraging.
It is
so I would really like to encourage parents, especially the mothers, to get enlightened about bringing these children up. It's very, very important.
Yes, that's true. Thank you so much, Felicitas. I really do appreciate you calling this morning. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. And that's true because they have different.
They do have different needs. They do have different needs, and that is why perhaps our organization has focused on the girl child and not on the boy child as well. But so many people have been asking us about that, so it's definitely something that we are going to think about. But I want to commend her for spending time with her children. But the boy, she did say that the mothers need to get involved, but I actually want to say the fathers need to get involved more. From what I have seen, fathers are very absent. Many fathers are not doing anything with their children. So fathers need to get involved more. And where the father is not present, then let's find a male role model for the boy child.
Yeah. Okay. So is it harder for single parents?
It's definitely harder, I think. It's definitely harder because, just like she's saying, the boys have different needs.
They do.
And one of the things that I always say is, I cannot teach my son to be a man because I'm not a man. I can do everything else for him, but he needs another man to teach him to be a man. And even for fathers, you cannot teach your girl how to be a lady. She needs another lady to teach her that. So it is a little harder.
Because you have to try.
You have to try, and you're everything. You're doing everything, even in terms of spending time with your children. Because, again, if you're providing, you have to work, you have to balance all these things. So it's definitely harder. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Because now they have to work extra hard and they have to put in extra effort.
Yes.
Even though it is doable,
in
all honesty.
It is doable.
It's just definitely a lot more work.
Yes.
Because you have to put on the mom hat and the dad hat. And I think that's why single parents, man, they're kings and queens. They rule.
They are kings and queens.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah.
There's so much you have to. First, you're the breadwinner, meaning you're the one who's providing. And then you have to attend all of their events at school.
Yeah, when they're sick, you have to take them to the hospital, and there's nobody there holding your hand. It is all you. So it's definitely harder, but yeah, it is doable.
Yes, it's something that needs to be done, so you have to do it.
You have to do it. And we only raise our kids for a period of time, so it's only hard for that period of time, and then they're grown and they go off and do their thing.
Now, I mentioned suicide over on the other side, and this is something that I talk about often on the show because it's something that I have seen a lot. And it, for a very long time, was something that happened a lot more in the West and more developed countries. I'm not sure why, but we were just getting a lot of research from that side. And then it slowly started crippling in to our country as well, where we could hear a lot more people committing suicide. Just the other day, we had a man who committed suicide in town. I don't know if you heard the story, right on Moy Avenue.
Yeah.
And it's becoming, it's happening.
Yeah.
And, you know, adolescents now are going through depression. And, you know, the peer pressure is getting to a point where they want to take away their lives. What are your comments on that?
I think what is happening is that with social media and so on, our lives are so much in the open.
Yeah.
We are dealing with a lot of issues in the open. There's a lot of cyberbullying, you know, and adolescents are facing that as well. And again, they still want to be on the social media. So it's almost as if they feel like the whole world knows. The whole world is making fun of me. The whole world is doing this and that.
Yeah.
Perhaps in the past, we used to deal with our issues, you know, on a smaller platform. And now it's almost as if something happened to a teenager and it starts trending, it's almost as if they feel like it's happening all over. It's all over. Everybody's talking about it, which might not be the case. So I think that's why they're suffering from depression. I think there's also an aspect where some, not all, but some teenagers have made it almost look cool to kind of have, you know, these challenges. Not all of them, but it's almost as if, like with the game that came in the other
Blue
day,
Whale.
it's almost cool to have this game and play it and do these things, and maybe they don't realize it's as serious as, they don't take it as seriously as they should.
Yeah, it's a very, it's definitely a big problem.
Yeah.
Let's talk about now risks. There are a lot of risks involved in a lot of the things that they engage themselves in, starting with the company that they keep and the things that they get involved with, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol.
Yeah.
Is that conversation happening now?
Well, as far as we are concerned, it's happening, but it's not happening to a large extent. And that's why we are hoping that as we mentor more young people, they will mentor their peers, because also those are the people they will listen to. And a lot of kids are doing drugs. And for many of them, it's almost as if alcohol is no longer a drug.
That's true. Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's basic. You know, they'll tell you, okay, I'll stop doing drugs, but I'll still take some alcohol. And we know the risks that come with
because they
alcohol.
feel like the alcohol is, since it's not a serious thing.
Yeah, alcohol is, I mean, that's just basic. It's like drinking water. And it's so sad when you listen to them saying such things, because again, with alcohol comes the partying. And in those parties, there are all manner of things happening. So it's a conversation that is happening. And again, parents, remember, we don't want to show our kids that it's just okay to drink alcohol. Many of them start with the alcohol and then they graduate to other things. So
that's true. And maybe it's because they started so early. You know,
Yeah,
just like
they just
sex,
started.
now people are getting into drugs and alcohol pretty early. I mean, not that there's a specific age, but when you hear someone who's 24, you know, drinking vis-a-vis someone who is 11 or 12, even a teenager generally, it does get you off guard.
It does catch you off guard. And with the girls that we mentor, many of them who are below the age of 18, they've already had alcohol. They have had different kinds of drugs. And many of them were introduced to it by their friends. But then again, there are those whose parents never, you know, they'll do these things right in front of them.
That's true.
They'll do it right in front of them, and it was okay. It's not a big deal. So we need to show them that it is a big deal. It may not be a big deal to you as an adult, but we need to show the kids that it is a big deal. Don't do these things. Let them make that decision when they're older. Yeah.
In fact, I remember, you know, that whole, how you were brought up and how your family, your friend's family is so important, so much so that you'd have your parents wanting to know your friend's parents. Right? So that they can see what kind of people they are.
And what kind of things do they allow in their homes. So it's important.
It's very important.
But right now, many children are just left to do their thing. They visit their friends, they come back, nobody cares.
So you need to open the lines of communication, and you need to be present. Very important.
You need to be present.
Thank you so much, Faith.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. We're going to leave her her contacts on our social media. That's at K24TV. So if you want to get it, make sure that you go and follow us. My name is Amina Abdirabah. And as we close down K24 Al Fajr, Ian is on the other side. Ian?
Thank you very much, Amina, for that. And of course, we continue to get more reactions in regards to that particular discussion. But something else is also happening in the meantime, and that is the 12th Parliament convening today, which will begin with actually swearing in of members of Parliament and also members of the National Assembly and the Senate as well. I understand we have those pictures coming live from right here in Nairobi, from the Parliament buildings. There are the pictures there. Members of of Parliament arriving there today. And of course, following their swearing in, we're going to be seeing the election of the House leadership from the Speaker of the National Assembly all the way to Majority Leader and other positions, and also going down going to the Senate as well, where they will be electing their leadership. Now, talking about election of the leadership, we have seen the former Speaker, Ekwe Ethuro, actually just arriving there. A number of members of Parliament as well. Remember, Ekwe Ethuro had been lobbying over the last few days to actually retain his position as the Speaker. Yesterday, in a twist of events, we saw, following the parliamentary group meeting led by President Uhuru Kenyatta at State House, where he met all Jubilee members, they came up with a list that they said is a preferred lineup for the leadership of the House. Surprisingly, that Ekwe Ethuro was not on that list. Instead, Jubilee prefers immediate former governor for Bungoma, Kenneth Lusaka, to actually take that position. So we're going to be seeing how the members actually decide. Remember, following the August 8th election, Jubilee actually has quite a number of seats. And I'm going to take you through the statistics for the National Assembly there. And actually, Jubilee took the day with after it garnered about 171 seats. That meaning that Jubilee actually has majority of the numbers for the members of Parliament at the National Assembly. And then we have other. We have, for instance, ODM with 76. We have other parties there.